So a while back, I was perusing eBay, looking for things to waste my money on, I guess. And I found a old N64 Mario 64 baseball cap. And since Mario 64 is one of my favorite games of all time, and I'd like to think that I look good in baseball caps, even though I have a huge head, I decided to place a bid on it and see if I would get it. And a week later, I did end up winning this Mario 64 hat, and this guy showed up in the mail. Little did I know that this silly little hat that doesn't even fit properly on my head would lead me down a rabbit hole to find out all about this huge Kellogg's and Nintendo sweepstakes that gave away tons of merchandise, including a long-lost Mario 64 set of trading cards that has beta imagery and incorrect tips on how to play the game that came out before the game was even released. So let's dive down this rabbit hole, find out all about this Kellogg's sweepstakes, as well as the long-lost Mario 64 trading cards, the beta imagery on them, and what bad advice they are giving you on how to play the game. All right, so let's start with this hat, because that's where this all began. So this hat is obviously made for children, because I have it on like as big as it possibly can get. And when I put it on, it'll basically just kind of lay on the top of my head and not fit at all. So unfortunately, I will not be wearing this hat around. But aside from that, what's cool about this hat is it features the N64 logo on the front, right there, the Kellogg's logo on the side, and the Mario 64 logo on the back. And this Kellogg's logo is what sent me down this rabbit hole in the first place, because I wanted to find out how one was to acquire this hat to begin with, because I had never heard of it before. So let's jump all the way back to late 1996, shall we? So the N64 launched September 29th, 1996 in North America. And as far as I can tell, this Kellogg's sweepstakes was a partnership between Kellogg's as well as Nintendo to help promote the launch of the N64 and Mario 64. This sweepstakes seems to have began a little bit before the launch of the N64 and then ran through at least a good chunk of 1997. So what's interesting about that is, you'll see a little bit later, some of the imagery involved in the merchandise, specifically the trading cards, was beta imagery and not the up-to-date artwork, as well as incorrect tips and tricks on how to play the game. So it's just interesting to me that it was really, like, obviously these were made before the game came out, but either this imagery was changed relatively late into the development of the game, or Kellogg's just had the wrong information or out-of-date marketing materials, but alas. This contest featured multiple specifically branded cereal boxes from Apple Jacks, Corn Pops, Frosted Flakes, Frosted Mini Wheats, and Rice Krispie Treat cereal. And all of them were adorned with Mario 64 related imagery and those big words that say instant win and all of that stuff. Where I first found this while looking for where this could have come from is actually Nintendo Power. So in Nintendo Power issue 88 from September of 1996, there was an advertisement for this campaign called 64 Reasons to Play the N64. It touted such things as 1 in 64 will win and over 1 million prizes available, all of that stuff, while featuring some of those prizes on the ad itself. Along with the Nintendo Power print ad, I was also able to find an old Kmart commercial hyping up the N64 launch, as well as the ability to win one through boxes of cereal. So I'll show that to you right now.
From the people that bring the best to you each morning comes the hottest game to hit your family's breakfast table. Rush to Kmart and pick up a Nintendo 64 Instant Win game piece, now inside these specially marked packages of Kellogg cereals. You could win one of 4 grand prizes: a Nintendo 64 Block Party, plus 1 Nintendo 64 game system and a Super Mario 64 game pack, or one of these 4 exciting prizes. So fly into Kmart, where these Kellogg cereals are on sale now. Everything we do is built around you at today's Kmart.
From there, I was able to look up this Kellogg's contest on the Mario Wiki, as well as just the Wayback Machine and stuff like that, and find out as much about this as possible. So let's go over what was included in this Mario 64 sweepstakes. Inside each specially marked Mario 64 cereal box included a game piece that told you if you had instantly won or not. They claim that 1 in 64 cereal boxes was a win of some sort, so if that's true, the odds of you getting something was fairly high, and there were a lot of different things that you could get from this sweepstakes. One of the more definitely of its time prizes is a Nintendo 64 themed prepaid phone card, which was the most commonly won prize in this sweepstakes, and according to the Mario Wiki, 1,463,907 of these were given out, which is such a specific number, and I just love that they have that information available. These were prepaid phone cards that would feature either Mario or the Nintendo 64 logo, from what I can see, and they were all either valued at $5 of prepaid phone credit or $10 of prepaid phone credit. Like I said, this was the most common of the prizes during this sweepstakes, and I'm sure there's tons of them out there. I did find a few on eBay, but most of them were probably thrown away, and it's, you know, they're not the most amazing thing ever, so I didn't feel like picking one of those up. Next up is a Nintendo 64 hologram watch. Now this one would be awesome to have. Unfortunately, I don't have it, but around 24,000 of these were given out. This was another one of the more common prizes you would win from the game. And I'll throw up an image right here of what the watch itself looked like. But yeah, that looks pretty cool. That was also featured in the Nintendo Power ad. Hopefully most of those are still out there kicking and available to be passed down to those of us who like to collect random things. Oddly less common than the Nintendo 64 themed watch was a Nintendo Power Super Club membership. This was only given out to about 6,400 people, 64, and it was a 1-year subscription. This was obviously a year worth of Nintendo Power magazines, but back in the 90s, and I don't know how long it ran, but there was also a special catalog full of Nintendo merchandise that members of this club were the only people who could order from this catalog, so it gave you access to that as well. Then next up was a Nintendo 64 with Mario 64, and only about 2,164 people won this one, so that would be pretty cool. It wasn't like a specially branded console or anything, it was just the console with the game. The most rare and extravagant of the prizes offered in this sweepstakes is really, honestly, kind of cool. Nintendo would throw you and your neighborhood a block party themed around the Nintendo 64 and Mario 64. And obviously this would also come with the console and the game, as well as we assume like party supplies and a planner and all that stuff. Only 4 people won this one. I could not find any images of these block parties. I wish I knew, like there was some footage out there or something just to see what these block parties looked like, but that would have been awesome as a kid to just have Nintendo come out and throw your whole neighborhood a party around Mario 64. That would have been sick, but like I said, only 4 kids or whoever won this prize, and I could not find any information about the parties themselves, really, as far as footage or images. But all of that aside, let's move on to the star of the show, the Mario 64 trading cards. I did find a pack on eBay of sealed Mario 64 trading cards, and I am going to be opening them up right now. So let's get to that right here. And here they are. This is a unopened set of Kellogg's Mario 64 3D trading cards. As you can see on the back, copyright Kellogg's, 1996. So these were made by Kellogg's, and then they're just utilizing the Nintendo trademarks. It is interesting to see the kind of beta artwork, the old thwomps there with their very polygonal look. You can see there are 5 cards per set. Yeah, the artwork is awesome. It is so cool seeing some old beta Mario 64 stuff. and having it like physically in my hand. So the bag itself has this kind of split down the middle right here. I'm gonna try and just use that. Uh-oh. So I'm gonna try and open this up in the most efficient and safe way to be able to keep the package the same. I was hoping I could just peel that out, but that does not look like that's going to be the case. You must resort to the knife. Don't cut towards yourself, kids. There he is, Mario. Whoa, okay. So yeah, this doesn't super come across on the camera, but it is kind of like a 3D effect, kind of like the 3DS, where if you look at it in just the right way, you can see 3D. And if you move it left and right, you can see the two different like frames that are being combined when you're holding it the correct way. It honestly, like the texture around this is wild. Like looking at this in person, it looks like this isn't a frame. Like Mario's in the front and everything else looks like it's in the back. This down here's in the front too, but yeah, there's Mario. Look at him. I genuinely wonder what stage this is supposed to be for Mario 64. The next one, wow, that fire looks weird. There's Bowser. Same thing, the texture and everything is pretty wild. Yeah, Bowser's pretty fuzzy back there. He's supposed to be kind of back in space. Nothing here too interesting as far as beta stuff goes. This appears to be probably the first Bowser stage, just based off of that ground texture. Yeah, the fire looks weird. It doesn't even look 3D in the card. I don't know why they did that. The blocks. Wow. This is Womp's Fortress for sure, just with the stairs and everything. But those beta, those beta thwomps look a little wild. Do have that good. Let me bring it up to the microphone. That little texture on there that you can rub against. It's interesting, they just called them blocks. Cool nonetheless. Big Boo. Look at him. Yeah, I mean, not a ton to say about these different variants as we keep going. If it doesn't have any like beta stuff in it, it's just interesting to see the art style and everything. And there we go, the penguins. That's awesome. The beta penguins look so sick. They're so funny looking. Look at their like not even orange feet, like wobbling back and forth. You know, the shadow looks a little funky being so far in space behind Mario as far as the like 3D space goes. That's funny. So yeah, I mean, probably the most interesting out of the cards are the penguins and the blocks, just because that is their beta artwork. They did not end up looking like that in game or in like the official manuals and all of that stuff. So it's cool to have those just, you know, physically. Let's start with the penguin, shall we? And look at the back. Penguin slide. We've got some more artwork along the back, or along the side right here. It's like a, it's the same image and he just swaps right there at the end. But when you return the young penguin to its mother, Mama Penguin will offer to race you down an icy slope. When you beat her, she'll give you a star for your efforts. If you find that Mama Penguin is too slippery for you to catch as you push down the slopes, look for a line of coins that runs into a wall. Follow the line of coins straight into the wall to find a shortcut to the end of the race. Which, honestly, that's interesting. So, a few things. These are two different missions that it's talking about. The Mama Penguin bringing the kid back and then racing her down the slope. It makes it almost sound like that's one mission, that you'd need to deliver the kid first and then race her down the slope to get the star. But also be accused of cheating and you can't get the star. So that's bad advice. Don't do that. So maybe that was different at one point. Maybe you could take the shortcut to beat her more easily, and then they took that out. Or Kellogg's is just bad at giving backseat gaming advice. Don't listen to your cereal on how to beat the penguin. All right, Bowser. Again, just the same image, just kind of scaled and moved forward. Beating Bowser. To defeat Bowser, Mario needs to use his speed to get behind the King of the Koopas, run up to his tail and grab it by pressing the B button. Start rotating the control stick to spin Bowser faster and faster. When you have enough speed, let go of the tail while Bowser is facing one of the mines. If your aim is good, the results could be explosive. Yeah, so that's good advice. And then this was the same with the other one. It does have the Nintendo website and the Kellogg's website, as well as all the other. These are like thick, by the way. Like, these are like nice cards. Dodging the blocks. All right, look at him looking at me. He's looking. You'll have to rely on timing to pass the bone-breaking thwomps. Okay, so they call them thwomps here, but they just call them blocks on the front. Before making a mad dash past one of these bad boys, press the arrow buttons to find a viewing angle that allows you to see the thwomps as well as the area you are trying to reach. Start your sprint just as the thwomp starts to rise from the ground and don't look back. Okay, giving some camera control advice there. It doesn't really mention that when you get close, they fall. But you know, here he is. All right, what do they say about Mario? Holy, we got some cool artwork back here. Okay. Yeah, there's beta Peach's Castle right there. Let me try to look. Dang, there's some good beta stuff back here. There's inside the castle. There's just an N64 controller right there. There's outside the castle, which looks a little different. It could just be the color. Yeah, the inside the castle looks a lot different. And then 2 shots of what looks like Lethal Lava Land. Yeah, that looks like Lethal Lava Land. You can see the old UI there. Some artwork of Mario throwing Bowser. All right, what do we have as far as the card itself? Use the control stick to move Mario in the direction you wish. Barely push the control stick to make Mario slowly tiptoe past sleeping enemies, or push the control stick all the way in a direction to make him sprint. The A button allows Mario to jump, while the B button lets Mario attack his enemies. Use a combination of jumping and attacking in the air to give enemies the boot. Literally, if you jump and attack in the air, you kick. I wonder if that's what they're talking about. Probably. A+ on the pun, Kellogg's. I like it. All right, and the last one is the Big Boo. What we got back here? Another not super exciting film strip on the side, just Mario running away from the Boo. Avoiding the Big Boo. Big Boo loves to make life difficult for Mario, but his Boo is worse than his bite. Oh, I get it. It's like his bite, or his bark is worse than his bite. I got it. Boo will only attack if Mario isn't facing him. Lure Boo towards you by turning your back on him and holding the Z button. Just before Big Boo reaches Mario, press A to jump backwards. As you jump backwards, release the Z button and press it again to slam Big Boo. Repeat this pattern a few times to make this big ghost do a vanishing act. That's one way to beat him, I guess. Also, fun fact, after doing all of this research and finding these on eBay and buying them and all that stuff, I had a trip to New York planned, and I went to a retro game store in New York and saw a set of these trading cards. I had never seen these before in my life, not online, not in any retro game store or collectible store, but after doing all this research, I happened upon some in this random retro game store in Manhattan. So I'll throw up some footage of finding that as well, because that was kind of neat, a neat coincidence through all of this. Now you may be asking yourself, after hearing all of this, where did this hat fit in, and where do the trading cards come from? And I was asking myself the same thing, because at this point I've delved deep enough in to find out about an N64 block party and all of this merchandise, but nothing I could find mentioned the hat or the trading cards. So unlike the cereal box prizes, which there was a little token that would tell you if you won or you didn't, and you had to mail that in to get your prize, the trading cards were separate. So it seems that these you would get by mailing in some form of proof of purchase, whether that was a receipt or like a chunk of the box or something, I'm not sure. But from what I was able to find online, it seems that was how you would get the trading cards themselves. So in theory, you could still win the trading cards even if you had a lost token and you could still get the trading cards even if you won something else. But yeah, it was separate and it was a mail-in thing. And when you did win them, you would receive a foil pack of all 5 cards. So everyone who won the trading cards from that aspect of the giveaway did get a full set of all 5 of them every time. So there was no gambling involved. Sorry, cardboard heads. They are all the same rarity. But yeah, all contemporary sources seem to list it as a mail-in giveaway in association to the rest of this Kellogg's giveaway. This also likely means that there was a limited number of these cards given out, but I could not find any specific numbers on that like I could with the other prizes. And it seems that after you mailed in to this giveaway, you were just randomly selected if you got the cards or not. So I don't know if you got like a letter saying you didn't win, or if you just wouldn't get anything if you didn't win, and a set of trading cards would randomly show up at your door if you did. So that leaves us with the start of this journey. Where the hell did this hat come from? Because it was not included in the mail-in for the trading cards, and it was not one of the prizes listed on any of the sources I could find for the cereal box token instant win giveaway either. So I had to keep digging to find out where this first bit of this whole situation came into play. And unfortunately, after looking forever, I'm not 100% sure. It's pretty much speculated that they were also mail-in giveaway items, which is not the most exciting conclusion to the story, but other eBay listings and auction listings of this hat do list it as a mail-in prize. They also, I found an official Kellogg's listing that lists it as a one-size-fits-all. That is not true because it doesn't fit my head. So not all, but actually for real, I did find another listing that listed it as a one-size-fits-all youth, which I think that's a little misleading, because that's still not all, just saying. All I was able to find regarding the hat were speculations online. A lot of people seem to believe that this was also related to the overall big advertising campaign between Nintendo and Kellogg's. But this one in particular was one that you had to collect multiple UPCs from the cereal boxes. So like the little, you know, cut the little thing off of the cereal box, collect all of them. And once you had enough, you could mail them in to get the hat itself. One clue for all of this was that some sellers had acquired, my hat was used, so it was not in the original packaging, but some of them are still in their original packaging, and they come with a little cardboard insert suggesting that they were shipped to them directly from Kellogg's. So because of that, we're assuming it was some kind of mail-in reward and not something like within the cereal box or one elsewhere, because it would have had to be shipped to the person directly from Kellogg's themselves. So that is a hint, at least. It could still have been available in store at demo kiosks and stuff like that, but considering all of the like new in-box or sealed ones that are being resold on the aftermarket do suggest via this cardboard insert that they came directly from Kellogg's themselves, at least the majority of them were most likely mail-in rewards in some form of giveaway, presumably tied to the rest of all of this. In the few places that these things are all talked about online, they are all listed together, so that also seems to hint at the fact that these are all related in some way. But yeah, it's not often seen. I've only seen a very few amount of eBay listings. This one was really rough when I bought it. It was kind of nasty. So I went ahead and cleaned it up, and I actually had to sew chunks of it back together. It was kind of falling apart. I'm happy with how it looks now, but mine was definitely not pristine. You can kind of see where I'm not professional. I'm not a tailor or a hat man, whatever they're called. So you can kind of see where I made that seam and all that stuff. But yeah, it looks good now. It's in better condition, and I would put it on my head now after I've cleaned it. I wouldn't when I first bought it. That was nasty, but it looks good now. But yeah, between these, the trading cards seem to be more common than the hat itself, but they are both really cool collectibles from this fun era of Nintendo, especially considering I love Mario 64 so much. So having all of this merchandise is just so sick. I love having all of this. So yeah, super cool stuff. And like I said, I don't know 100% how rare this hat is. I've seen a few other listings on like Mercari and stuff like that, but it does seem more rare. Again, don't have any numbers of how many were given out, just like the trading cards. But yeah, now you know. If you are a huge Mario 64 fan, you are now aware of the fact that there is a set of 5 trading cards that you could have displayed on your wall or in your card binders. And if you happen to have a one-size-fits-all youth-sized noggin, there is a wonderful fashion statement that you could be making, or you could just leave it sitting on the top of your big head like I do. Hopefully you found this as interesting as I did. It was definitely fun to dive down this Mario 64 related rabbit hole of cereal box merchandise partnered with Nintendo. If you know of any other obscure Nintendo giveaways that they did with cereal companies, be sure to leave a comment down below. I would love to go down more rabbit holes for these kinds of things. But overall, I found this extremely interesting. I hope you did as well. If you like what you saw and you want to see more of it, I'm definitely going to keep making more stuff. So be sure to stick around, and I will see you next time. I'm supposed to be doing, it's like Mario does that, you know, he gets a star. Woohoo!